Hello, human beings. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to this show called Hear Me Out. And today we're just going to talk about getting rid of poverty in the USA and Andrew Yang and how that, correlates and why people need to know what he's talking about. And I'm going to give what he's talking about along with a few of my own personal suggestions that should be maybe implemented on it. Like maybe he'll hear this. So if you know him, please tag him in this. That would really be doing me a favor, okay? And a lot of people a favor. And maybe he'll want to reach out and come on the show and actually be in an interview. But the purpose of this little podcast today is just to kind of talk about his perspective and all the math he's trying to explain to people that people don't really want to hear out, because when people hear numbers they get all weird sometimes. And but just real quick before we get into it, I gotta take a real quick drink of water. Like I'm getting kind of parched, but I'm gonna turn the music up just so I can kind of promote subliminally. By the way, stay healthy, guys. Stay healthy. You only live 36,500 days if you were to be given exactly 100 years, okay? So stay healthy, drink your water. All right, now let's get into this show. So, ending poverty in America. We're considered the greatest country in the world, yet we have people homeless, living in homeless shelters, and we have... The main thing that I want to get at right now, though, is the people working 9 to 5 who take home a check and barely make it last until the next check. So you've heard it, living check to check. I feel like if you're giving 40 hours of your week, 5 days a week, however your hours are spread out, you should not be living in poverty. You should not be making under a certain amount of money every month. It just doesn't make sense. Like, it's just modern day slavery. And I'm going to go over Andrew Yang's plan for basic income or universal basic income. But then I'm going to hit on things that I feel like he should, incorporate. Just a couple ideas that I have to make everybody happy, because that's the argument on his plan is, the people who strongly feel, about, people... First, I have to explain what his plan is, and then we'll start talking about why people don't think it's a good idea. And so let's just get into that real quick. Andrew Yang's plan. So he calls the plan basic income or universal income, like if it were to catch on globally. But it's a plan to where every single individual above a certain age, more than likely 18 or I think it's 16 years old, will get a fixed income, passive income every month, ranging from about $1,000 to $2,000 every month. Yeah, for each individual. And the money would, because that's another question that that had been brought up, was where's the money going to come from? Well, the money would come from a dividend from S&P 500 companies. Your huge corporations, Apple, whatever, like the big ones, Tesla, stuff like that. And it would be treated like a dividend. So a quick little quick little lesson on what a dividend is usually ranges from 3 to 4% investors will get every 3 months, usually, of whatever they've invested into the company. So say they've invested $1,000 into Apple stock, and Apple gives out a 5% dividend, they would get $5,000 of that. They would get 5% of that $1,000 every 3 months in a dividend. It would be treated the same way, but it would go towards Americans. Because some people want to be like, well, why can't we just print it? Well, that causes inflation if you're not familiar with financial literacy or whatever. But yeah, you don't want a bunch of inflation. We've already had a lot of money being printed in 2020 for the stimulus packages, helping out the economy from when things shut down and stuff like that. So, and along with other fiscal promises that the government's made, such as Social Security and stuff. So those are promises that need to be made, and that's already money being printed for things like that. Natural disasters, hurricanes. But we need something that would be, from these giant companies who make lots of money, within the years, and it's not really going to affect them too much when it comes to that 4 to 3% dividend from however many companies that they need to grab it from. But then there's, we live in a capitalist world, and that 4% is out of people's checks. So that's always going to be like, oh, well, won't these companies get mad? That's already the problem and the obstacle. But if you let these companies mark this 4% off as a tax deduction at the end of the year, they might say, hey, I don't think that's a big deal, especially if I'm helping out my American people, in my opinion. That's my suggestion on that part of the plan. And another worry is, won't people get lazy? Won't people get, $1,000 to $2,000 isn't going to be something that, everybody's just going to go and quit their job over. You still need to make some more money. And my proposal on that is to fix that is just make it at a certain age, a higher age, maybe even 24 to 25. If you have a huge amount of 18 to 24-year-olds who know that they can't get their $1,000 to $2,000 every month until they finish out a certain amount of years of working or a certain amount of hours or however you would do it, then of course they're going to go and work these jobs that are still available, even with AI not taking them over. That's another thing that we have to consider, is what he's trying to get in people's heads. Like AI and automated systems are going to be taking a huge amount of jobs within the next even 5 years. So if we don't do something to provide something for people of lower working jobs, retail, just anything that, AI or automated stuff, machinery, technology is going to be replacing, then it's going to be a bad world. It's going to be a world to where the poverty gap is just going to be huge, And by the way, don't be counting how many times I say, okay? I know it's a thing that I do, but yeah, even if you're not like literally living on the street, but you're working that 9 to 5 job every week, literally like dedicating the majority of your time throughout the day to a place that's just going to enable you to pay your bills and then just get by. You're literally broke by the end of the week waiting on a paycheck. That's what I'm and people like Andrew Yang are trying to get people out of. Like, of course, people above a certain income bracket, you wouldn't be able to get this because you already have a nice paying job. You have a career, more than likely, say an engineer or a nurse or a doctor that makes over $100,000 or whatever it is a year. I mean, that's a nice amount of money to be making. You can invest more. You can retire earlier. But what about these people who literally have to be a waitress or a McDonald's worker and literally do that job because of the position in life that they've been given, and they have to do that for the rest of their life, and they just don't make enough to put back to the side to invest in some stocks or an index fund or a little bit of real estate for whenever they retire? No, they have to work these jobs forever, And the reality of it is not everybody can be an engineer. Not everybody can be a doctor. I don't even want to get on the manufacturing field because that's my trade. I can program CNC machines, run CNC machines, do any type of precision work, and from the 50s till now, almost half of the manufacturing jobs have went to China. But yet, I'm just supposed to go to school, and I didn't go to school for this stuff. I literally got the books myself and taught myself, and then got my way into a job. It was all luck. It was half luck. I did it. I learned it. But not everybody can do that. Not everybody can get lucky and not go into a company without any type of education background or experience and then get a job in there. I got really lucky with my position, you know? And just finding these jobs alone is a needle in a haystack. You know, you got to wait for an opening usually. So, yeah, my point is some people just get stuck in a fast food joint or, you know, no shame to any of these career or these jobs because somebody's got to do them, you know. And if you happen to be the one that gets stuck there for a long time or you're just job hopping, all the jobs are paying around the same amount of money, that's miserable. You know, nobody should be working until they die. You know, even if they knew like, okay, if I stop by 35 or 40 and I have a good $1,000 to $2,000 to just kind of kick back on, I'm going to be still in the poor bracket, but at least I'm not slaving my body away for the rest of my days. I can live off of $1 to $2,000 every month. Hold on, I got a phone call. And I'm back. So let's go back to that concern that everyone has, like, oh, well, people are going to get lazy, you know, because of, you know, they got $1 to $2,000 a month and they don't have to work, right? No, if you make it to where the age is at least 25 to be able to get this, there's that small gap of people who will literally have to work, meaning that you won't have a spread out age bracket of people who are working these jobs that go in and out of these jobs anyway. Think about all the fast food jobs and factory jobs, the, like, you know, more physical jobs too, construction, like these occupations that have employees coming in and out of the work. It won't really matter because people who are 18 will know, like, hey, I can't actually get this money until I'm 25. I have to at least put in my time. You know, they'll be required to do it, and it'll give that entire age bracket motivation to go work these jobs that nobody wants to work for 20 plus years just to retire with a little itty bitty 401k. You know, by the time, you know, you get it, it's not even that much money to compare to what inflation does and appreciation and everything's done, you know. So you eventually have to take that money and invest it into something else to stay afloat when you're 65 and able to retire. But like, that's on a different video. We'll get on that, you know, in another video. But okay, I gotta catch my breath. I do that. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, I mean, let's not mention some companies over across seas who literally have employees jumping out of the windows. Okay, I'm not gonna mention any company names because I don't want to get sued or demonetized, you know, or my video taken down. I don't know. I'm not gonna mention any names, but you know, if you Google it, you can find something on it. So to fix that problem, man, something has to be done with as much automation that's been put out into the world already. I mean, you already have self-checkout spots in Publix and all these automatic things that just do this stuff. Like, I've seen the type of robots that I could end up programming and literally take somebody's job because it does the job better and more efficiently. So there has to be some type of basic income like Andrew Yang is talking about, or our world is going to be very, very hectic very soon. Because what do you have when you have more poverty? When there's more people in poverty, you have more crime. It's a fact. You got a bunch of pissed off, broke people. You can't blame them. I mean, shit. I mean, I would be probably pretty mad and stealing shit too if I couldn't put food in my kid's stomach, you know? And that's just the way it is. Like, America should not have the amount of people that are in the poverty bracket and the homeless people. You know, and we can argue all day about the homeless thing. You know, oh, well, they could possibly choose that life. They could go to a homeless shelter. Yeah, I get it, you know, but either way, they're still in that position. And there's a lot of people who are hopping couches and hopping jobs, you know, but they can't go to the 4 year of college. And even people who end up going to college end up in a predicament like that as well. I mean, you're just as likely. You get out of college because you went in for 4 years for something, and now you can't even get a job. You know, it's crazy. So that's gonna wrap up this show, guys. I hope you have some thought. I hope it was food for thought. I hope you have some comments you can leave down below. Ask me some questions. Maybe do a video on something else, or, you know, something financial related. I also talk about, you know, the music industry and just anything to do with the entertainment or what's going on that I'm interested in, and hopefully you're interested in it too. So if you like the channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to see more stuff. If you don't like all this talking stuff, go check out my music side of the channel. Yeah, maybe you'll be able to vibe to some of that. I'm just gonna stop talking. Sorry. But I'm fighting with myself when the light shines in. It's good for my health. She starts dancing, I start living. I show gratitude to the gift giving. And now we living in the moment, here we go. Eyes closed.